Hey, what's up? This is your boy Asiago on 3 a.m. Thoughts. It is actually 3 a.m. this time as I record this. Now, that means, because these podcasts last about, typically an hour, that's probably going to be around 4 a.m. by the time I actually post this. So there's that. Alright, starting off, right before this podcast, I actually kind of went through like a mini writer's block. You see, like I couldn't think of anything to talk about, and that's the thing, because that's really weird for me. Because usually I will have like literal thoughts, in the freaking late hours of the night, and I would have like. And then those thoughts become other thoughts and become other thoughts. That's the way I run this podcast. I talk about one thing, and then I ramble on, and it branches off into something else, and that's where my topics come from. Just me, going through the tunnels of my mind. Just going in the rabbit hole, as they say. But for some reason, though, the thing was that this time I was actually purposely trying to find a topic for my, for my doohickey today, and I had trouble with it, because I was actually trying to think it out. When usually, I'm just, laid back, I just kind of, think, nothing. No, I don't really think about it. I just kind of do it, because that's my thing, I just do it. I mean, people tell me, to think about it. No, I just do it. Now, sometimes I'll think about it, but that's not really me. Alright, let's see. So, actually, I don't want to turn the PlayStation on. I got other things to do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to sit back down. I'm going to turn on the Minecraft. I do not have Minecraft for the PS4. As a matter of fact, I have Minecraft for the Switch. The reason why is, this basically the same reason why I have any game on the Switch. Because, it's portable. If there's a port exists, if a port of a game exists, if it exists for both PlayStation and the Switch, chances are I'm gonna get the Switch version, like the new My Hero game. Like, I really wanted to get that for my PlayStation so I can crossplay with some of my friends. But the thing was that I also wanted to be able to play this, sucker at work, and I wanted to be able to bring the game if I ever went to a social function, if those ever return, where I could play with other people, and all I need to do is just bring the console with me. And on the Switch, the entire gimmick is, being able to be, brought everywhere. Okay, so right here, turning on the Minecraft. No, I do not want to open chat. Here we go. Back to building my grand creation. Alright, so, tonight I want to start off things with, I want to speak about video games here, because right before starting this podcast, I was just searching the interwebs, and on Google, one of the suggested stories for me was this article. I hadn't actually read it yet, but I just read the title. It said, with the PS5 and the new Xbox Scarlet, coming up, the Nintendo Switch, they should either, they should upgrade or be choked and lost in the dust of these new big consoles. Now here's the thing, I really more so disagree than agree. And remember on these podcasts, this is more of a, this is more something from my opinion, my mind. It's not, don't take my freaking words as gospel or whatever, unless I'm actually talking about myself. But and things like these, I'm just speaking from my mind, theorizing from my own, from my own eyes. So, just take it with a grain of salt, and don't take it to heart either. So the thing is that when you see the current gaming industry, and we're talking consoles here, not really PC or, God forbid, the damn Stadia or anything like that. Let's talk about the stuff that people really consider, which that would be the console wars, the modern console wars. You got the Xbox, you got the PlayStation, and then you got the Nintendo. from what I'm seeing, the gaming industry is, I mean, it's still a war, all right, but these days it's more of a war between PlayStation and Xbox. You know, because you know, back in the 90s, you know, it was all about, you know, Nintendo versus Sega. You know, the two big dogs. I mean, sure, Atari was still around. You know, and I'm pretty sure other companies were around too. Oh shoot, like, you know, the WonderSwan and all that, you know, crap. But the thing was that oh yeah, I even just thought of this now, the Neo Geo, that was definitely a thing back then, or the Commodore, or the TurboGrafx. You know, all these other consoles existed, but the ones that people really talked about and the ones that people really you know, wanted to actually saw competition between was the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo, and even the NES in some cases. But this ain't the 1990s no more. And definitely when it comes to gaming consoles, there is a lot less of them. I mean, shoot, like, and people, like, you know, even the micro consoles are either made by, you know, Nintendo or some retro company, like, you know, again, Sega. Although they're not entirely retro, they still make games, they just don't make consoles no more, but that's not the point. Anyways, so, you know, we're talking consoles here. And so, Nintendo, it might be part of the big three, but I don't see them as actually, you know, competing with the you know, with Sony or Microsoft in the same way that they did with Sega back in the day. As a matter of fact, it's more like they're on their own terms. You know, it's like they are competing with them, but then at the same time they're not really competing with them. You know, it's that yes but actually no kind of situation. Because yes, Nintendo also sells video games. They also sell video game consoles. You know, they also make games and they sell them. But the thing is, though, it's like they're, I'm not gonna say not exactly on the same level as Sony and Microsoft, although that's actually kind of it. But more so that they're playing for they're playing a different game here. No pun intended. They're playing a different game here, because you see, PlayStation and Xbox, you know, it's like the console war we had back with you know, the Sega and the Nintendo. That's how, you know, things are now with Microsoft and Sony, you know, with the whole PlayStation and Xbox thing. You know, and that's the thing. And Nintendo doesn't really, you know, they don't compete the same way, you know, as those other two do. I mean, shoot, like, I think really, truly the last time Nintendo actually really competed against the rivaling companies, the way they used to was back with the GameCube. Because if you look, the GameCube was truly like the last console they made, which actually, you know, competed with you know, with power. You know, going straight from the Nintendo 64, they jumped to 128 bits with the GameCube, and the rivals at the time were the PS2, jumping from 32 bits to 128 bits. You had the Xbox, which, you know, it was a brand new thing at the time, and then you had the Sega Dreamcast, which was Sega's last attempt at the video game console business. Now you keep on going, you know, you keep on going, and you realize that, you know, Sega fell off, and Xbox pretty much you know, took Sega's spot, and PlayStation still stands. But if you notice, in the next generation of consoles, with the Wii, the PS3, and the Xbox 360, you realize that the PS3 and the Xbox 360, they both, you know, upgraded their specs. You know, I think they're still both 128-bit, but they're, you know, it was enhanced. You know, the power, there was more power behind there. There was you know, enhanced you know, functionalities with certain things. Like, I'm not too much of a technical guy. I can't really speak, you know, computer like my fellow friends can, but I mean, just look at the graphics between, you know, the PS2, PS3, the Xbox 360, and you really know what I'm talking about. And then you have the Wii. You know, as a successor to the GameCube, if Nintendo was truly competing with the other two the same way as they have in the past, you would think, you know, hey, you know, freaking the Wii wouldn't have been the Wii. You know, the Wii would have been another standard, you know, sit-at-home video game console with a, you know, with a very standard controller. Probably would still been 128 bits, but it would have been HD, would have been enhanced and all that. It would have been pretty much like a Nintendo PlayStation or a Nintendo Xbox. But Nintendo decided to take a different route with the Wii. You know, they went, let's see, well, first and foremost, they changed up with their audience. You know, their audience, you know, sorry about that. their audience is not exactly, you know, the it crowd anymore. They changed their stance. They wanted to be, you know, more towards, you know, the family genre, which you know it's a good you know, change of pace, and it really does separate them from you know, from what the other two were, which the other two really were more geared towards you know, more hardcore gamers, more core gamers, and just, you know, gamers in general. But I mean, with the Nintendo Wii, Nintendo changed their whole stance on everything. You know, they wanted to include everybody, not just gamers. You know, they wanted to appeal to pretty much everyone, and that's exactly what the Wii did. I mean, being the one of the best-selling consoles of all time, I think it was also Nintendo's best-selling console of all time. It's either that or the NES. I can't really remember, but I mean, regardless, it's still one of their best-selling consoles, and that's because, you know, it appealed to, you know, everybody. You know, there was something on the Wii that, you know, somebody, even whether they're a gamer or not, wanted. Whether it was Smash Bros, whether it was Mario Galaxy, whether it was Wii Sports, you know, whatever. You know, something appealed to everyone. I mean, hell, I bet you freaking your uncle or someone like that still has like a, you know, bought a Wii back in like 2009 or something like that. You know, bought it once, you know, for a party, you know, or family reunion or something like that, and he doesn't play it at all, and it's just sitting in his freaking hallway closet, you know, and it's been sitting in there for the past decade, you know. So I mean, shoot, like, I mean, my point being that, you know, with the Wii, you know, it sold really well because it appealed to everyone, and especially when it came to the whole party scene, the whole social gathering scene, back when that was a thing. You know, that's how it was. They changed gears, they changed their focus, and, you know, people really you know, reacted to it, and so therefore, starting with the Wii, they changed their entire you know, place in the industry. They weren't up there, you know, really fighting it out, you know, with Sony and Microsoft. Rather, I mean, they might have been still on the same playing field. They might have still been, you know, in the same market, you know, trying to, you know, sell games alongside the you know, the other two companies, but, you know, they weren't really on the same page, for say. Like, I don't know. Like, right now, I'm trying to put it in words, but I mean, you guys should know what I mean, though, or at least I hope you guys know. Let's see. So let's go on. There is the Wii U, released in 2012, a successor to the Wii. Now definitely with the Wii U, you know, it was a commercial flop. Not saying it was a bad console, not saying that the games on it were bad. That's far from the truth. The thing was that the Wii U, if Nintendo was truly competing against you know, PlayStation and Xbox, the same way they did with Sega back in the past, then the Wii U, yeah, they would have came out with a Wii U, you know, instead of the Wii back in 2006. I mean, the controller would have definitely looked different. It would probably just be the Pro controller for the, you know, for the Wii U. You know, that would be the standard controller. But I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, if they were truly competing in that way, then they would have never came out with the Wii, and they would have, you know, they would have made the, you know, the Wii into the Wii U, or at least to what the Wii U was. You know, the first HD console, capable of displaying, you know, enhanced 128-bit graphics, and they probably, because it would be 2006, they definitely would not have implemented the touchscreen controls, but you still would have definitely seen some dope games on there, though. Let's see. So, but the thing was that when the Wii U came out, it came out at a really weird time, because essentially, you know, costing at $400, you know, and at the time when it came out, you're like, and this is 2012, like, literally the Xbox One and the PS4 were literally going to release the following 2 years. So, like, releasing that kind of console, you know, that late, you know, it's like if it's as if, you know, Nintendo were to release the Super Nintendo back in 2003. You know, sure, you know, it's a good console with good games, but I mean, really outdated compared to the rest of the competitors. You know, and being outdated doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna flop. What really makes you flop is how, you know, you market it, how you treat it. And with the way Nintendo marketed the Wii U, you know, they didn't exactly know how to. Or at least seemingly that's how it was. Because here's the thing, you know, with the Wii it was straightforward. You know, they wanted to make some for everybody, and you know, and evidently that's how it was. But for the Wii U though, like, just being fresh from the you know, from the Wii days, from the Wii era, you know, now that Nintendo was known for being, you know, this not only this family friendly company, but this company of which that made games that appealed to everyone. It was kind of it was just really out of left field of what they tried to do with the Wii U, which, I mean, I think with the Wii U they actually not only tried to you know, piggyback off of the Wii success, but they also tried, you know, again, they tried too hard to appeal to everybody. Because, you know, if you've seen for those cringy commercials, they were really, like, on one face, you know, they would try to appeal to, you know, to the little kids, you know, to the little kid people, not kid people, like to little kids and families, saying that, oh, well, you know, Wii U is fun for the whole family. You can play all these fun games like Mario and Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers and Legend of Zelda, you know, and all that stuff. They would even use the freaking Disney Channel actors and actresses, you know, they try to further that, you know, aesthetic, that environment of being, you know, being all about, you know, the family, you know, being all about for the young people. But then, like, and this will be more for, you know, the Wii U's earlier days, but you know, you would have, you know, the Wii U advertising stuff like Zombie U and you know, Mass Effect 3 and Assassin's Creed 3 and stuff. You know, it's, you know, those are more mature games. You know, those are more the games that people enjoy back on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. You know, so they're really trying to appeal to that crowd too, now that they had the HD capabilities that the other two consoles had, you know, already. But I mean, that didn't do well, because first of all, that was a pretty big mistake, because I mean, those games, when the Wii U came out, they were already, you know, they have already been out, you know, for the previous you know, consoles. And, you know, and again, this console was $400, and it was essentially the same thing that, you know, any PS3 or Xbox 360 owner already had, except that had the capability to play Mario. And with, you know, more powerful consoles, you know, coming out, you know, like literally in the coming years, it was really pointless. And again, the whole marketing thing, people had no idea, you know, who the hell that this console was marketed to. Was it marketed to hardcore gamers, or was it marketed to, you know, to more family oriented people? Like, cause here's the thing, like, cause here's the thing, you know, and the whole naming of the console too, Wii U. I mean, they could have just called it Wii 2, but they wanted to, you know, they wanted to sound all unique and stuff by calling it U. Like, if they would have changed that U to a 2, people would have realized that it was a different console. Like, there are so many people, especially a whole lot of normies, that played the Wii, and when they hear the words Wii U, they think it's just like some kind of an add-on. Hell, whenever I first gazed upon the first, like, teaser of the Wii U, I think it was back in like 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. It was on Nintendo's website, and I saw this this weird tablet thing, you know, that said Wii U on it. You know, it had the circle pads on it. It had, you know, the screen, and I saw the word Wii. I had no idea what the U meant, but I was like, oh my god, wow, they're making a portable Wii? Oh shoot, this is cool. But the thing was that, you know, it turned out to not be, you know, an add-on for the Wii or a portable Wii. Rather, it was, you know, it was a brand new console. Except, you know, by looking at it and by looking at the name, if you're a freaking normie, unless you're actively following the video game community at the time, you really wouldn't have known that. Like let's say, you know, that your normie uncle, you know, that bought a Wii back in 2009 for that one family reunion, and he never played again. You know, that same console that's you know, that remains in his freaking hallway closet. If he were to see it, he would be like, oh, it's they're making something new for that console I have that I played with my my cousins one time. Oh, well, that's pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty nice indeed. he would have no idea there was a new console. Although, I mean, to be frank, you know, like a lot of the people that the Wii appealed to probably, you know, wouldn't really care about a new console. They would just probably care about the fact that the Wii exists and they can play a freaking Just Dance on it whenever the family comes over or whatever. But that's besides the point. The marketing, you know, the marketing for the Wii U was terrible. I mean, when Nintendo was, you know, with the Wii, they became known as these, you know, like, you know, these certain type of people, a certain kind of people. But then when they also try to like be that, have their cake and eat it too, by also trying to be a hardcore machine, it's, you know, it doesn't really work very well, especially whenever you deal with the fact that, here's the thing, you know, Nintendo is great. Nintendo consoles, they're great too. But the thing is that let's say we're back in the Wii U era. You know, let's say, you know, I had, you know, all three consoles, the Wii U, the Xbox 360, and the PS4. Now, if I wanted to play, you know, Super Mario 3D World or Super Mario Maker or Super Smash Brothers, you know, I would get the Wii. I would play them on my Wii U, because I mean that's why I have the console, you know, to play them on. But if I wanted to play more mature content like Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty or any of those other kind of games, I would really, I would, you know, play them on my Xbox or my PlayStation, because that's exactly why I got those consoles for, to play those kind of games. You know, if I wanted to play something more power intensive, hey, I got an Xbox. If I wanted to play a different kind of exclusive, you know, with a bigger story, with more mature content, that's what I got a PlayStation for. You know, it's, and that's the thing about gamers, you know, like, and I think, and this is kind of a weird and not a very good way of thinking when it comes to marketing, you know, video games. Don't assume that your audience is only gonna have a Nintendo console. Don't just assume that, because here's the thing. Oh God, I don't have Corona, I swear. So, but here's the thing though. I mean, when you're trying to appeal to gamers, don't just assume that they're only going to have your console. I mean, sure, you're technically competing against the other two, and trying to get people to buy your console instead of, you know, the Xbox or PlayStation. But the thing is that, you know, if I wanted to play Mario, you know, I get the Nintendo console. If I want to play, you know, anything else, more mature, more power hungry games, you know, I got a different console, preferably one of the other two, to play it on. And shoot, and that's just the harsh reality that Nintendo really had to deal with, you know, back in the Wii U era, and with the whole Nintendo Switch, you know, era, you know, coming into play like 3 years ago, they really changed things up again, but for the better. Like, the Switch is definitely what should have been the true successor to the Wii, and it's what the Wii U wished it could be. Because you see, the way they market it, I mean, they go back to, you know, there's something for everyone strategy, but except, you know, that it's more, how do I say this? It's more composed. You know, it's more concentrated. It's not as broad. You know, so I mean, they're not expecting, yeah, your freaking uncle who bought that Wii back in 2009, you know, to be really really be interested in it. But they're really appealing more to just, like, you know, not so much the everyman, but, you know, to, you know, the gamers, and to really just, you know, really all kinds of gamers, you know, there are. You know, instead of just trying to appeal to normies or to gamers and normies, they try to appeal to all kinds of gamers. And so, shoot, you have all these different ports from consoles of the past on the Switch. Now, here's the thing. That exactly didn't work on the Wii U. Like, I mean, why the hell would I spend $400 on a Wii U just to play Assassin's Creed 3 when I have a PS3 and I can play, you know, that same game on it, you know, for only $60 when I go buy it at the store? No, I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but then here I am, you know, playing Assassin's Creed 3 on my Switch, you know, so what's the deal there? How does that do better than with the whole Wii U? Well, the thing is that, first of all, and here's it's the biggest elephant in the room. Sure, you're buying Assassin's Creed 3 again, but you're getting the chance to play it portably, and that's the whole thing of the Switch. It's the whole gimmick, and that's the thing. You know, Nintendo consoles from the Wii onward, they always had some kind of a gimmick. Even the portables, like the 3DS, the whole gimmick was 3D. It wasn't required, but I mean it was a gimmick that, you know, drew people in. The Wii, the whole gimmick was motion control. Of course, you know, not every game on the Wii required full on you know, motion controls. Like, you know, you don't need to freaking make the swimming motions in Zelda or anything like that. And the gimmick with the whole Wii U was the freaking gamepad. I mean, literally, like, the gamepad alone was the only reason why I was even interested in the console, and it was the only reason why I was so proud of the console. And when you look at how the console is designed, it's boring. It's like, you know, it's boring. It's bland. But then you have the controller, and that really steals the show. And then you get to, you know, the Switch, the gimmick, and it's the gimmick that actually works, is the fact that it's portable. It's a full-on console. You know, it's stronger than a Wii U, but yet, you know, it's the size of actually the size of a tablet, and you can take it with you on the go. I mean, if I wanted to, you know, I can take my Switch with me, and I can go play, you know, Doom 2016 on my lunch break. Like, I'm not exactly able to do that with the PS4, Xbox One, or, God, not with the freaking Wii U. And so that's the thing, you know, with the Wii U comes, you know, new opportunities. That's why all these older ports of these older games from, you know, the last generation of consoles did so well on the Switch, because of the fact that not only were they remastered and they got all the DLC and all that, but you're getting the chance to play them portably. And that's precisely why, you know, I got them. Hell, that's why I precisely bought Assassin's Creed 3 for the freaking second time. Let's see. I mean, well, first of all, I sold my PS3 along with all the games, including Assassin's Creed 3, a long time ago. So it's not like I had the game to begin with anymore. So I mean, that's why I bought it anyways. But two, again, not only can I play it on my freaking HD TV again, I can also play it, you know, on my lunch break and stuff. And it works. And that's also the thing with the Wii U. You know, you can, the same console that you can play, you know, Assassin's Creed 3 on, or freaking Doom 2016, but it still offers, you know, the same kind of games that people know Nintendo for. And now, Nintendo can't port every single game that comes on, you know, the other two. Like, I mean, shoot, I can play Rage 2 on my PS4 and on my Xbox One, but I can't play it on the Switch. I mean, for obvious reasons. It's a big game, and it's very graphically hungry. But the thing is, though, is that the Switch doesn't exactly, you know, focus on trying to, you know, appeal to those kind of people, because they realize that, hey, you know, our gamers, they're not like, okay, like even if they're freaking, like, you know, 10-year-olds, you know. Even if they're freaking 10-year-olds, like, they're not just gonna have a Switch, chances are. I mean, shoot, not saying that everybody has more than 2 consoles, it's just that chances are, like, not everyone is gonna just have a Switch, or they're gonna freaking sell their PlayStation 4 Switch or whatever. Chances are their Switch is gonna be like their secondary console. And so I'm guessing that's another reason why they decided to make the Switch, you know, entirely portable. Because the thing is that, like, you know, that's the thing with the 3DS. Shoot, like, even if you played, even if you exclusively played, like, Xbox games, you know, chances are those the people who exclusively play Xbox probably also had a DS, because that would be their secondary console. That would be the thing that they would play on the go at the time. You know, it was either that or a PSP or a PS Vita, and, you know, and seeing how well that side of their business did, you know, with their DS and Game Boy and all that, you know, and shoot, and even outright demolishing Sony in the portable gaming industry. Like, Nintendo saw, you know, they saw fit, you know, to make their next console, you know, portable, you know, like a successor to the Wii U, but as well as a successor to the DS. You know, let it be someone's secondary console, but have it be powerful enough to where, hey, you know, it could also possibly be your first primary console. Hell, like, I mean, it was mine for a long time. It actually still kind of is, but But shoot, but like, but still though, like, I mean, have it appeal to those who, you know, to both those who will only have a Switch, and to also those who will have a Switch and, you know, they're competing consoles. And you know, and that leads me to why I think Nintendo doesn't really have to upgrade or really change anything, you know, with the whole rising of the Xbox Scarlet and the PS5, because Nintendo already knows their place. They're not exactly competing against the other big two, you know, like they had back in the 90s and or even back in the early 2000s. Like the way they're competing now is that they're just doing their own thing. You know, they know their place. They know how, you know, they know how people's, you know, boats flow. So they're sticking to it. They're sticking to their guns, and you know they're not tapping into anything that, you know, that's beyond their control. They're not, you know, they're not you know, trying to, you know, fix things that are, you know, they're not trying to, you know, fix things that aren't broken, and they're not trying to change things up that really shouldn't be changed. You know, they know their audience now, and they've even grew, you know, another audience, you know, with the whole, you know, situation of the Switch, and it's beautiful. It's a true evolution, and not just the gaming industry, but the portable gaming industry too, because still Nintendo is truly, you know, the not only the leader, but I think also like the real only you know, remnants left of the portable gaming industry. I mean, PlayStation has still yet to release any kind of like successors to the Vita, and I doubt they will, especially with the Switch and Switch Lite being the new thing now. And really, and with the Switch, it is really, you know, raised the bar on how portable games should you know, play like and look like and stuff. So it's a really wild thing to think about, and seeing how they've changed the industry so much, you know, with their tablet-sized console, I really don't think they have anything to worry about, you know, with the coming, you know, newer consoles for the next generation. And as a matter of fact, I'm really excited for this next generation of games, because I mean, it's a new decade, new consoles, new possibilities. Especially with the rise of VR, I would really like to see how PS5 treats VR. I would really like to see, you know, what does Xbox, you know, do from this point? Hold on, I'm gonna take a drink of water because my voice is getting dry. Yeah, so, and I'm really excited for what Xbox is gonna be doing specifically. Now, I'm not an Xbox gamer, or at least not yet. I have never owned an Xbox. Although I actually do plan on buying an Xbox from a friend of mine later, but it's just an Xbox 360 though. It's not really so much else. How the hell did this camel get up this high on my wall? I'm just gonna push you off. Yes. Anyways, I've never been an Xbox player, but thing is though, why am I so like hyped for you know, for what Xbox is gonna do this generation? It's because it's what I've been seeing, what they've been doing lately. They've been making their games, you know, more playable, you know, to pretty much different platforms. You know, you got your Forza, you got your Forza, you got your other, you know, console exclusive, you know, your Cuphead and stuff. You know, being able to be played on different consoles. Like hell, the Switch is getting, you know, console ports of Xbox exclusives onto the Switch, and you know, and it's kind of, you know, it's kind of crazy that Microsoft of all people is really teaming up with Switch, you know, on these things from cross you know, from cross-play you know, online gaming to even letting freaking Banjo Kazooie and Smash. Now that is not just a whole big announcement, you know, for Smash as a game, but it's also a new mark on the video game industry as a whole. Because Banjo Kazooie and Smash represents, you know, a truly a different era, you know, of the industry, where, you know, these companies, I mean, they're still competing against each other. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But there's a new sign of like, I like some sort of a unity, like a working togetherness. You know, like, because Xbox, you know, they're slowly trying to change, you know, how they do things. You know, I think they're still making consoles, for the time being. But there's gonna be, but they're also changing things up, and I think this decade, we're really gonna see that change. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Scarlet ends up being like their last actual console, and they start becoming more, of an online digital thing, or becoming more of a publisher like Sega did. Not necessarily because they're like failing in the business or whatnot, or at least not from what I'm seeing, but from another point of view, because the whole like, I don't want to say industry, the whole landscape of how we consume media is changing. Like, we're starting off this decade, like really almost entirely on streaming services and stuff, entirely online, entirely on demand, almost entirely on demand. Back in the last decade, actually back in the 2000s, let's start off there. The 2000s, the thing was, it started off with the whole VHS versus DVD, thing going on there, and it was all physical media. And then by the end of that decade, you had the whole Blu-ray. You had Blu-ray coming in, because by that time DVD had already done, taken over, the sales that VHS once had. But now they had a new competitor, which was HD DVD and Blu-ray, in which Blu-ray ended up, they took over HD DVD, but, and now Blu-ray is the new standard for HD DVDs. But the thing is, though, DVD still exists. Now that's a whole different topic I'll discuss later. But I mean, thing is, but by the end of the 2010s, that's whenever a different kind of form of media started coming into play, and that's streaming services. You got your Netflix, you got your Disney Plus, you got your Hulu, your PureFlix, your PlayStation Now, and your Xbox Game Pass, and even Nintendo Online. You got all these different streaming services. Even for music, with Spotify and Pandora, things are being streamed now. It's more convenient. You have literally everything all in one place. I mean, except when you really think about it. I mean, shoot, there are a lot of movies that you can only get from like Netflix or Disney Plus, and you have to keep switching between the two. But that's a different thing. That's a different story. But thing is, the whole idea is you get all this stuff in a singular place, and that's just the thing. It's more convenient, it's more accessible, and with the prices that they offer, for their service, it's not really much in comparison to buying all the stuff yourself. And it's even gotten to the gaming industry again with the whole Game Pass and PlayStation Now thing, and the Nintendo Online. Except with the Nintendo Online, it's kind of, I'm seeing it's trying to replace the whole virtual console thing by making you subscribe to a service which not only allows you to play online, but it also allows you to play these classic games. Now, not all of them, but a growing selection. A growing selection of classic NES and SNES titles, and I think eventually, eventually they might add, N64 and GameCube games, and possibly even Wii games. That would be freaking dope as hell. But hell, it would also be dope if they freaking added some Wii U games. Hell. So anyways, streaming services. Now you see, it's true, even Xbox. Yeah, Xbox definitely, they're releasing the more. Oh god, I need a burp again, but I can't burp. There we go. Yeah, so definitely with Xbox, they're releasing their their games onto like tablets and stuff. They're making their games more accessible to play even if you're not on an Xbox. But basically, if you watch Xbox's moves and how they're doing things, essentially, it's almost like they're not so much caring about how, like, whether you buy their console or not. They're more so caring about, they just want you to play their games. That's just the main focus. And really, that's the main focus of any game company, more so than buying their console. I mean, the console is kind of like, the whole reason why you can play your games. But when you're doing what Xbox does and you're releasing your games on all these different platforms and stuff, that's the thing. You want people to play your games. Because that really makes the most money. I mean, sure, people might drop $600, for a console once. But then like your money comes from, all the games that you release for that console, and as well as charging them to play online. But really though, when it comes down to it, people buy consoles for the games. I mean, that's the reason why I own all these different retro consoles, because there's all these different games I want to play on them. And seeing what Xbox is doing by releasing their games on all these different platforms, that they're getting to the point. They're cutting to the chase. Hey, you want to play the latest, I mean, not the latest. You want to play Cuphead, go ahead, download it here, or play it on the Switch, or you can play it on the Xbox. We don't care. We just want you to play it. And I think, after this last console, if it ends up being their last console, they probably might just become entirely digital or something like that. You never know. This new decade is bringing on new possibilities, even if a freaking Chinese thing is going on. But anyways, godly, and I'm excited to see see what they do, and I'm also excited for the possibility of a new Banjo Kazooie game, because here's the thing. Like, I do plan on eventually getting the either the Xbox One or the newer Xbox. But the thing is though, like, if they revealed a brand new Banjo Kazooie game, my heart would jump out, and I would immediately go buy a freaking Xbox right now at the second. Or even if I had to pre-order one, I would do it right at the second, just so I can play the latest sequel to my favorite game franchise. My freaking god. Shoot, because here's the thing, Banjo Kazooie's relevance, they kind of lost relevancy after Banjo Tooie back in 2000, because, well, the deal was that, after the N64 era, Microsoft bought Rare, and freaking, they pulled a Disney on us by saying, oh, you want a Banjo 3? Well, we're not gonna make that, that's not happening. We're just gonna make Rare, make Sea of Thieves, and whatever other game we can make them create. That's whatever. Treat your bot company, however you want. But damn, can't believe what they did to us with the whole Banjo Kazooie. Then again, if Microsoft didn't buy Rare, the Rare probably would have released Banjo 3 on the GameCube or something. But shoot. But anyways, the relevancy. So after Banjo 3, there's they had one other game which I hear mixed reviews about, and it's kind of the reason why I want to buy James's Xbox 360, because I want to first of all have the console to be able to play it on, but then I want to buy the game itself, and then play for myself, because half the people say it's a bad game, and then other people say if you look at it as a Banjo Kazooie sequel, yeah, you're gonna see it as a bad game. But if you see it as, for what it is, a different game, except they use Banjo Kazooie as the actual theme of it, then you might actually find yourself having a good time. It's just that they're using characters from this specific franchise, to kind of embody it in. But then after that, definitely nobody's even talked about Banjo Kazooie. After 2008, but then and the only times that really people would ever mention Banjo Kazooie is in the Smash boards, because with Smash history, Banjo Kazooie was actually one of the first characters that Sakurai, the creator of Smash, really wanted to add in the game, and not being, well, first of all, just not putting him in the game just for whatever at the time, it really gave us this idea, like, hey, what if they were in the game? Shoot, they are big icons when it comes to the whole Nintendo 64 era, so why not add them in? They definitely earned their spot, even if they weren't exactly Nintendo characters, but shoot, they're definitely iconic enough, or at least for the time being. And then, but then as different or as more, Smash Bros sequels came on, it became more obvious that even if Banjo Kazooie weren't exactly relevant, they still wanted them in the game, because aside from being a very iconic duo from from the N64 era, they're also their games are genuinely fun, and there's so many things you could possibly do with them. And knowing the fact that Sakurai originally wanted them in, really just boggles people's minds. Like it drives them nuts that they're not in the game in any way, shape, or form. And then when they introduced DLC back in the Wii U games, like God, like that really made everyone crazy, because then they became more of a possibility. But then, you know, we never actually got them in the Wii U and 3DS versions, so that really sucked. And shoot, that really made me sad. Hell, but and even then you had Smash Ultimate, bringing back every single character, and plus more. And then when it was revealed that they were having DLC for that, everybody got excited again. And seeing, because at that same time Microsoft was doing all that partnership stuff with Nintendo, God, like it became even more apparent, or not apparent, it became more, the chances of Banjo Kazooie actually being in Smash really freaking grew. And eventually they did, as the third DLC character. And my God, I freaking loved it. Like at that time, it was a perfect time too, because I was actually replaying the game, because I just bought a Nintendo 64, and freaking when I saw the reveal trailer, when I saw that puzzle piece fly by on the screen, my God, it was a very surreal moment. I thought I was just dreaming. I thought I was like just tripping, but man, it was amazing. It was a beautiful sight to see, and I am so glad that I saw that live with my own eyes. God, it was amazing. And now that Banjo Kazooie is, you know, relevant again, or at least in this way, I'm over here thinking, I mean, if Microsoft wants to keep, you know, partnering up with Nintendo on these kind of things, shoot, like, I mean, why not? I mean, sure, you may not have the original team anymore, but you could still, you know, get people together, and why not make a Banjo, you know, because why not make a Banjo 3? You know, make a second sequel. Shoot, like Banjo 3 was teased at the end of Banjo Tooie, except it never came to be. So I mean, should even use that as a very excuse to make the game. But God, like, and imagine this too. Imagine if they did make the game. It would. There's a big possibility that it would release for both Xbox One as well as Nintendo Switch, and that would be ecstatic. But even if they made it and it didn't release the Switch, that game alone would be enough for me to buy an entire console. My God, and if you think I'm crazy for buying an entire console for just one game, hey, a lot of people do that for freaking Just Dance, you know, or freaking Smash Brothers. So, I mean, I'm not in the weird here, but shoot, like, wow, and still nothing has happened yet, and I still haven't seen any news about it. But still, like, the freaking possibility is still there, and the underlying hype is also there, or at least from me it is. Like, my God, do I love the series. And I remember when I started playing the series, it was back in 2009 or 10. Nah, it was a yeah. It was 2010, 10 years ago actually. So I went to this garage sale, like literally the people that lived right across the street from us, you know, they were about to move out, and, you know, upon doing that, you know, they had a garage sale, you know, I'm guessing just to try to, you know, get rid of all the unnecessary stuff they had, and you know, just trying to clear out the house easier. They had a garage sale, and so I went over. I had like maybe $20 on me. Shoot. So seeing that, and I love garage sales. Even today, I love going to them. You know, you never know what kind of stuff people have, and sometimes they may have some that's, you know, actually very valuable, but they're probably only charging like $15 for it. But shoot, like, you know, and again, it's just exciting to see what other people got that, you know, they're putting up for sale. And so, being an 11-year-old kid, you know, I went across the street to the garage sale, and I started looking at things, and I saw this weird game console looking thing, and I was like, wow, what is this? Shoot, and I saw the word Nintendo on it. I had no idea what the 64 meant, but I knew, watching a freaking 90s TV show, you know, a day prior, I knew that Nintendo 64 was some kind of an old gaming thing. So I'm like, oh shoot, oh, is this that freaking thing that they were talking about on that show? Oh God, I gotta see what this is about. And so freaking So I asked how much the console was. Surprisingly, for the console, which was in good condition, freaking, I think maybe almost 30 games, 4 controllers, and a memory card. My God, all of that for just $15. My God, just thinking about that, all that for just $15. God, it was. Like, I didn't think much of it at the time, but man, like, shoot, seeing that I bought my most recent Nintendo 64 on Amazon for freaking almost $100, and it only came with 1 game and 1 controller and no memory card. God, like, shoot, like, damn, if I would have known like what I had and the value of it, I definitely would have I definitely would have not did what I did, like a year or two later, and freaking sold it to a place called Movie Galore. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that I didn't like it, it's just that, like, at the time, I really wanted an NES, and I thought, the only way, because for me being 11 years old, the only source of income I freaking had was, let's go to, let's go to freaking Movie Galore and sell my damn N64 with everything, God, I still deeply regret it today. Even though I have a Nintendo 64 again, and I have all the games back, almost all the games back, and I still only have 1 controller, but I only play 1-player games anyways, but that's not the point. Even though I have all those things again, I still regret it, because I didn't even get the NES. Freaking the NES they had there was freaking a display, or not just a display, it was a game tester. My God. But anyways, seeing I got like maybe 9 minutes left of this podcast, I'm gonna try to cut a little more to the chase here. So, for $15, I walked out of that garage sale with, a Nintendo 64 and like 28 games and all these controllers and stuff. And so one of the games I got was Banjo Kazooie. Now, I don't know what led me to go play this game, because I definitely know what led me to play the original Super Smash Bros. Because I saw Mario and Pikachu on the same art, and I was like, wait a second, what is this? And so that Smash 64 was the first Smash I ever played, and my God, that was a great introduction to the freaking Smash series. And then later, after freaking days upon days of playing this one game, I decided, hey, I'm gonna check out these other games I have. And so, and pretty much, the collection of games these people had, like, they pretty much had all, like, the main games that you'd expect to find, in a normie's, N64 collection. Everything except for, like, any of the Zelda games or Mario 64. But they had Banjo Kazooie. And again, I don't know what compelled me to play this game, but I don't know. It felt like something was, like, calling me to play the game. And so I put it in the console, I booted it up, and I was introduced to that freaking musical number at the beginning of the freaking title screen, and wow, like I don't know, I was mesmerized by it at first, because I was like, wow, I like this, I really do, and I really like the design of the characters, I like the music. Wow, let's see how the gameplay actually was, and oh my God, I could not put that game down. I freaking loved it. All, like, from the missions, from from it being the collectathon, from collecting all the freaking puzzle pieces, seeing all the enemies, using Mumbo's magic to turn into different items. Like, wow, it was really, really freaking cool. And I still think it's really cool today. Shoot. But as a kid though, I never, let's see, and being very sucky at video games, I never actually I never actually completed a Banjo Kazooie, nor did I actually get very far before I ended up selling the damn console. Shoot. So here we are, like, 10 years later, so I have the N64 again, and I've been playing the game again, I've been playing the game again, but this time more seriously. I'm putting more time into it, and I'm actually, I'm discovering all these worlds that I've never been to before, like the desert world, or the haunted house world, or even the freaking snow Christmas world. I'm like, wow, like, God, like, I can't believe I hadn't been to any of these stages back whenever I originally started playing the game. And shoot, like, God, like, I still love the game. Like, but except, you know, like, I have all these old nostalgic memories of the game mixed with all these new memories, you know, of new enemies, new places, new music. Wow. Like, wow, there's always something new. For me, there's always something new in the game, and I freaking love it. God, like, and shoot, and even this year, like, because for the longest time, I could not decide what was my favorite game of all time. I mean, there's so many of them. There's Smash, there's Mario, there's GTA 5, there's Assassin's Creed 3, there's Dr. Mario, freaking, but truly, I realized my favorite game was Banjo Kazooie. And hell, like, I'm still working on the game now, but shoot, like, I'm so excited. I love the game so much that I bought Banjo Tooie. It's in my collection right now. You know, but I'm not gonna play it yet until I beat this one. And I feel like I'm almost there. Shoot, I'm almost at the part where, you know, I freaking fight Gruntilda and they use the freaking what's Banjo Kazooie's final smash, like the somethingnator, the Dragonator, or something like that. Let's see. Or the Ginginator. Yeah, the Ginginator. Shoot. Yeah, like I'm so excited to see what happens next. You know, and again, I know I've talked about Banjo Kazooie quite a bit on this channel, but you know what though, I can't help it. You know, it's my favorite game. It's my favorite game franchise. Oh, except I hadn't played all 3 games for it yet. Actually, well, technically it's more than 3. There's still those weird Game Boy games. Those freaking Banjo Kazooie Game Boy games. As a matter of fact, actually, now I think about it, I do have a GBA emulator on my Wii, so maybe I can go on later and I can try to see if I actually have the Banjo Kazooie game on there. If I do, I will go ahead and give it a play. Shoot, I mean, I would be and wouldn't be surprised if it was on there. I mean, seeing that the stuff I've already discovered on there already, like, shoot, I had no idea I had JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the video game, for the Super Nintendo on my freaking SNES emulator on the Wii, and wow. I would not have figured that I had that. Now, sadly, there is no PS1 emulator, but if there was, I probably would also have the PS1 game. But shoot, but that's a different thing. That's a different topic for a different podcast. Shoot. Sure is. And actually, funny thing is, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is my favorite anime. So here we go. I'm over here talking about favorites today. You know, if we're on that topic, my favorite color is green. My favorite number is 8, and my favorite food is crawfish, and my favorite state is Texas. And okay, we're done with favorites here. Let's see. So what do we got? Last 3 minutes of the podcast. My voice is going hoarse, and I can't really think of anything else to talk about. Actually, what I originally wanted to talk about, I actually never got to talk about. I think I'll save it for next podcast because, you know, what I really wanted to talk about was actually more serious, and I was actually going to talk about it after like a brief, because I was what I was talking about with the whole like Nintendo thing at the beginning of the podcast. I was just planning on that being like a very brief thing, and then I get on to what I wanted to talk about tonight. But you know what though. You know, plans change. I rambled on. The podcast happened. So, I mean, here we are. The last, minute and a half. So I'm just going to give you a heads up. What I really wanted to talk about is kind of serious, but kind of... I mean, it's not too serious. But, like, it's kind of like the, reality check episode. It's definitely... the topic itself is definitely a lot more serious. But, I mean, it's nothing to, like, too big or anything like that, if you catch my drift. But that's for next episode. So thank you for making it this far. Thank you for listening to my podcast. So there'll be more episodes released every day as this quarantine thing is going on. And Have a good night. This is Asiago on the 3am Thoughts, signing off.